How's it going, everyone? Luxeley on Luxeley, my hunter. Showing a little love to the hunter, and for good reason. I came up with a lone wolf build. It's right there. But that's only 1/3 of the story. I'm still working on what glyphs work with it and testing the 2 macros that make it very, very viable in PvP. Very viable in PvP. Why do you want to use lone wolf? Well, it's pretty simple. As a marksman hunter, you basically lost 2 huge damage abilities, a Murder of Crows and Barrage. Got a 20% nerf across the board for PvP. That is huge. Absolutely huge. Blizzard could have easily taken the cooldown on Barrage, which is a ridiculous 20 seconds, and made it 45 seconds, and probably accomplished the same, but they didn't do that. And a Murder of Crows, they could have taken away the reset, maybe put it on a 45-second cooldown, but they didn't do that. So we got hit with a big whammy. Our 2 biggest abilities, or my 2 biggest abilities that deal damage, got a 20% nerf. Not 1, 2. That is just overkill. So I was really down. I was like complaining to anybody who would listen. I was complaining to NPCs in the game. I was complaining to people in my guild. I had sessions with the guild psychiatrist about it. I just would grab anybody I could find that would listen to me for 2 seconds and share trade chat. I was bitching quite a bit about it. I was just very I know for a fact, I'm not denying the fact that hunters needed to be nerfed in PvP. What I'm saying is 20% to your 2 top damage abilities is huge, and what I'm saying is there's other ways you could have went about this, by changing the structure of what the ability does or changing the cooldown. And this is where Blizzard suffers from an extreme lack of creativity when it comes to problem solving, and I'll stand by that. You got a right to disagree, but I'm pretty confident that they could have accomplished the same thing by changing the CDs or changing the ability a little bit. So I decided to take advantage of these 2 weeks and play around with different builds on my Shadow Priest, play around with different builds on my Hunter. Now, here's the boom, you're gonna hit the trap. Boom! You didn't see the trap, did you? Now, that misses intended, because I want to get the other 2 guys that are trailing him into traps, so this way it brings me to a 1v1. But of course, for some reason, probably almighty douche knight probably rode right over the trap without activating it, but whatever. Anyway, here's the deal with the lone wolf build. It's very contingent on 2 macros that I created that are very effective so far. I still have to test them out, make sure they work in a lot of different situations before I release them, because I don't want to say, okay guys, this is the macro, this is what you do, and then all of a sudden I didn't test it in Arena, or I didn't test it here, I didn't test it there, and people are like, oh, you suck, that doesn't work. So I gotta be a bit prudent, cover my ass, you know? So the 2 macros that make this viable are macros that make Roar of Sacrifice and Master's Call just a two touch over and done. So that's epic, because the main reason I never played Lone Wolf was because I couldn't use Roar of Sacrifice without a pet, couldn't use Master's Call without a pet, and if anybody's seen my Hunter or Priest videos, they know how important it is for me to be mobile, and Master's Call is my Jesus, baby. I love Master's Call, and I can't use it as a Lone Wolf Hunter. And then the third reason is you don't have that Animal Bond or Animal Spirit that's giving you that really nice passive health regen. Well, these 2 macros make that very viable. As you might have seen a little bit earlier in a video a few minutes ago, I summoned my pet and used either Roar Sacrifice or Master's Call, one of the 2. So all it is, it's double click, boom boom, and you can summon, it'll summon the pet and use Master's Call if you need it, or summon the pet and use Roar of Sacrifice if you need it. And then when the fight's over, you just dismiss your pet. Yeah, you're going to take a damage nerf, but you have to use it judiciously. You really do, because, you know, you're not going to be able to do damage unless you get away from melee. So sometimes you just have to use Master's Call to do that. And the same thing with Roar of Sacrifice. You know, Paladin's coming at you with his big, you know, wings and shit. Roar of Sacrifice, so he can't crit. So really huge. I'm very excited about it. Now, you got to use the exhilarating heal thingy, which is a 30% heal one time every 2 minutes, which isn't as good, but still, you know, there's no battle fatigue, so it's a true 30%. Now, here's another thing I want to test out, because one glyph, I'm still working on what glyphs work with this build and what glyphs don't work with the build, and that's going to take some time as well, so that's why I'm not quite ready with it. But when everything is ready, first you're going to see a hunter guide for Marksman Hunter, which is going to be very comprehensive and detailed, much like my Shadow Priest guide was. And right around that same time, I'm going to come out with everything you need to know for the Lone Wolf build, which is going to be talents, glyphs, playstyle, macros, everything. But there is another macro that I want to test out, because in theory, ooh, 66k on a DK. Little poetry for everyone. Thanks for playing. I want to test this out. Now, I've never been a huge advocate of the trinket that bolsters your health. I don't know what it's called, but it, you know, gives you that temporary health boost. Let me try English. Temporary health boost of about, I think it's like 10 or 15%. The thing is, I believe that's now on a 1 minute cooldown as opposed to a 2 minute cooldown. I'm not 100% sure. I gotta double check. But the fact is, between your exhilarating heal for 30% and Chimera Shot, the one-time 30% heal is on a 2 minute cooldown, and Chimera Shot is on like a 6-second cooldown. Here it is, you have an opportunity to use that trinket when you most likely need it, because you need to be healed, and because you get that total max boost health, total max boost health of 15%, I believe it is, you're going to get a higher heal with the exhilarating heal and also the Chimera Shot. I haven't tested it out, but in theory it should work, because it does work, at least in pre-patch 6.2, it worked on my mage. I just happened to get that heal boost on use trinket on my mage when I was gearing my mage up, and, you know, I've never really decided to use it, but I said, hey, since I'm playing fire and having fun with fire, playing with fire, I decided I need more health. I need more, you know, defenses, because, you know, you don't have the defenses of some of the defenses or abilities that a Frost Mage has, some of the CC that a Frost Mage has. So I was like, wow, what am I going to do? So I went with that trinket to bolster my health. So when I ice blocked, I got a bigger heal from my regenerative ice glyph. So I gotta think, if it worked for my mage pre-patch, I'm pretty confident that same theory is going to apply to a hunter or any other class where you have that temporary boost of health to get some extra heals. That adds to the survivability in a lone wolf build, and so far it's worked. I mean, I wish I had the video to show you guys, but I did a Temple of Kot Mogu, whatever it's called. It's just some temple where you run around and kill people with the orbs. But I crit on a Chimera Shot for 284k. Granted, I had some buffs up, but still, 284k. Pretty huge. As you can see, I'm 19-0. So, then, if that wasn't enough, I crit for 314k. 314k on a kill shot. So, I'm seeing some monster numbers, especially, I mean, at BG, everybody sees monster numbers, but still, those are big, big numbers. Those are numbers you write home about. And, I mean, even in this BG, I think I saw a couple of 85, 90k Chimera Shots. That's the Paladin who ruined my day. Cloud ruined my day. Clouds gave me a rainy day. Yeah, 19-1. Because of Cloud. But I had deterrence up, I had my heals up, but I just was gambling there. And why not? I was going for 20-0. That's the one thing I've always hated about deterrence, is that you can't maintain pressure with deterrence. You just can't maintain pressure with deterrence. And so it's either, you know, full offense or full defense, and I went with the offense because the clock is running and I'm trying to get Wrecking Balls, so whatever, I didn't get it. But I still go 20-0 thanks to the Warrior. Thanks for playing! Thanks for playing! Your weapons don't match, honey. And your shoes don't match with your weapons, I'm just telling you. Just a guess, I don't know. But guys, yeah, this build is really, really cool. It's doing some master monster damage. I don't know if it's going to be viable in Arena. I mean, and I don't think right now testing it out in skirmishes is an accurate test, just simply because, you know, there's a strong possibility you're not going to be up against good competition. Granted, if you just do it randomly, you won't have a good partner either, but I would have to believe that in threes, with an epic healer, this Lone Wolf build will be very viable in Arena as well. People, thank you for tuning in. This is Luxeley saying, whatever it is about you, morning, afternoon, or night, make it great. Be sure to be subscribed for the Hunter Guide, and more importantly, the build on the Lone Wolf Guide, which is in progress, just trying to perfect it, but we have the basics down. Thanks, people. Have a great one.